Hi, welcome to Point of View. I am Crystal Holliday,
Say Jamali. And Shakayla.
and today we're going to talk about a few things. What I wanted to talk about is the trial with Amber Geiger. I just want to talk about briefly what's going on with this trial. Um, if you don't know, this is the police officer from Texas that walked into the unarmed black man's apartment and shot him as he was eating ice cream sitting in his underwear. But what she was saying is that she didn't know that that wasn't her apartment. Now, even though that's an apartment building, there are a lot of things that look different between the third floor and the fourth floor. Um, they were saying how it's a skylight on the fourth floor where it's not a skylight on the third floor. It was just a lot of stuff that didn't add up. And what the defendants were saying, her lawyers, they were saying that because she was so, um, she was so scared when she came in and she thought that that was her apartment. She said, well, the guy was way bigger than her and she just feared for her life. I'm not understanding why she didn't take what she learned in the police academy, to get her license to carry a gun or whatever. Why she didn't take precautions, safety precautions, to make sure that that was a better outcome, that her life, that she could have saved his life. What do you think about that? What's your point of view on that?
Well, I agree with you because if you're a police officer, I mean, no regular citizen or whatever you want to call it goes that far towards your house or wherever you live and don't recognize your surroundings. So you should always be on your P's and Q's, especially if you're a police officer. That's common sense. And if she's saying, "Oh, he was so big and I was fearing for my life," but he was sitting down first of all, and it was like a couple second exchange because he didn't even have time to get up before she shot. So how were, how was he so big? You was so intimidated. All that. It's just weird that we're even entertaining or justifying what happened. At the end of the day, this guy was in his
Apartment.
yes, and it's not his fault if she got that confused, which I'm sure she didn't. But it's not his fault that she was incompetent or whatever and then just reacted. At the end of the day, an innocent person got killed
Exactly.
and he was in his own home, so he should get justice just based off of that. So,
Exactly. I mean, the thing is she didn't give him no warning. She didn't tell him put his hands up. Just nothing. She just didn't do anything to stop what was happening, the negativity that was happening. What do you think?
Um, Two things. One thing, on one side, like I feel like she's a liar. Like, how do you go to the wrong apartment? It's like I lived in an apartment building. It's like even though a lot of the hallways look similar, none of them look the same because people will put out welcome mats or like plants. It's like something slightly different about every single floor. And then on top of that, who walks into an apartment without checking to make sure that you're at your apartment? That's like the weirdest thing ever for you to accidentally walk into somebody else's apartment.
Exactly.
Then on the opposite side, let's just think that maybe she did think she was in her own apartment. Even if she did, one, that irrational fear of black men, I definitely feel like kicked in because if there was like a tall white man, would you feel the same? Um, well, that's one thing. Two, she knows as a police officer, if you say that you're like if somebody invades your house, you then have the right to defend yourself with lethal force and can get away with it. She's aware of that as a police officer, so that's one point that she could have gotten off. But on top of that, her being a police officer, that further helps her point. It's just like I can easily see how they came up with this defense to try to get her off. But like Kayla was saying, this man was innocent. He was in his apartment eating ice cream in his underwear. Most people don't break in and just say, "Hey, I'm going to spend a couple hours here. Let me take my clothes off. Let me get some underwear. Let me get some ice cream out your refrigerator." Like that's a lot. The fact that he was sitting there in his underwear eating ice cream should have probably told you to double check and make sure you were in the right place. Plus, think about this. As soon as you open the door to somebody else's house, you know you're not in your place anymore.
Exactly.
As soon as you open it, as soon as you crack it a little bit,
That's what
you should have
the
known.
prosecutor was saying.
You should have known as soon as you open the door. Like I said, I used to live in an apartment building when I went to school in upstate PA, and it was like 100 apartments in this one building. From the outside, all the hallways were gray, all of our doors were gray. But as soon as you opened the door to any of my friend's apartment, we knew right off the bat that it wasn't our place. Like, I don't understand how you get that mixed up.
She didn't have it mixed up because the prosecutor said that their apartments look different from one another.
I'm sure.
You know, he was saying that she didn't smoke weed, but he did. He had the lingering smell of weed, and so immediately when she did open, she knew that wasn't her apartment. And then the defendant, which is her lawyers, they trying to say when she came into her apartment, he was saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. And all she could see is this big, grueling man coming after her, and
What
she
she
feared
saying,
for her
whoa?
life. Yeah, he was like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. That's what he was saying.
But guess what? He
But-
got a right to say, well, because guess what? If somebody's coming in my place out of nowhere and I'm just sitting here watching TV and a stranger comes in, what else? What am I going to say? Oh, hey, how you doing? It's shocking for someone to just barge into your place.
But
Exactly.
also
So-
him being a big black man in his underwear and a white woman just walked in on him. It's 1,001 things that she could say and people are going to automatically believe.
Yep.
Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Stay where you're at. Don't take another step. I don't want you near me. Like, he could have been afraid just how
He
you
was
claimed
afraid because he saw
you
her
were
gun.
afraid.
He was afraid.
Well, I'm sure once he saw the gun, he was definitely afraid.
And then all he had the chance to do was to do like this. He was like, whoa, 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 bam, bam. And then that was it. She didn't try to do anything to save his life. She just let him fall down. And what she do, took her phone out. She texted her boyfriend, which was she was having an affair with a married man. She texted him, told him, you know, I messed up. I effed up is what she said, texting it. But she erased a lot of the texts from that day, you know, so, you know, trying to cover up her tracks.
That's what it sounded like. From the beginning, that's all she was worried about was covering her tracks. But didn't they also say that in front of the door it was like a red placemat? He had
Yes,
a red placemat.
yes, and she didn't have.
So
Yeah,
little
like,
things
no.
like that, you
That's
know,
not, it just sounded like something happened between them, maybe, or maybe she was mad at him, or whatever.
Her
It just
and-
sounded
her-
like
her
she
and
did
the
that on
guy
purpose and
that was-
already had that in
yeah,
the back of her
right.
head. Like, I can say I thought it was my apartment. I could say I was afraid. Like, I could say these things. I'm a cop. Like, I know how I can get off. Because it's just,
She already said that, you know, she was having an affair with him. He was older than her partner. He was married. So he probably said, you know, I can't see you no more. You know, I want to make my marriage work, and that made her mad. You know, I don't know. But anyway, you know, I just wanted to bring that up. It seemed like the law is different for cops than it is for a regular person. We all know that the law is different for a black person, but when it comes down to a cop, they cover at all means necessary.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Yes.
Just to like further that point, when you say like cops, when you say cops do anything to like cover up what other cops do, I know y'all probably remember the case about Eric Gardner about 5 years ago. They said they thought he was selling cigarettes. They end up putting him in a chokehold. He said, "I can't breathe." End up dying. So here we are 5 years later, and we finally get some sort of prosecution. And it's like, because y'all were trying to cover it up, it took 5 whole years. Even though we knew that, we saw it on tape, the chokehold that was used was illegal.
Yes.
And he said, "I can't breathe." It's like, okay, so you had no proof that he was doing this. The chokehold that you used was illegal by your books, by your standards.
Right.
And it was on videotape with multiple witnesses. Y'all tried to charge the guy who recorded the incident. Y'all tried to put him in jail.
Oh,
That's
So it's like,
ridiculous.
y'all went through all these steps instead of just saying, you know what, this officer was wrong. He's going to have to pay his debt to society, just like we make everybody else do. Just like we make everybody else do. It's really ridiculous.
What you got to say, man?
Well, I guess out of all of this, we just gotta educate ourselves on the laws too. The laws, because first of all, we could see through situations like that. If we hear something, I know sometimes a joke we like, I know they was white, I know they was black. We could
Yeah,
tell.
and that's not a joke though.
No, I know,
That's
but we
real.
like, oh, they black,
That's
they
real.
white. We know
Yes.
because of how things, are done, and we know the outcome depending on your skin or ranking or whatever. But just to know the actual laws and how do they get away with it? Of course, it's because of race or whatever. But law, through the law, how do you get away with it? So maybe we could fight it on a different angle, just knowing. But
Exactly.
on a lighter note.
Yes, we need
On
a lighter note.
We had a party recently, and my friends was talking about politics and laws and this and that. And that's when I was thinking, like, okay, I need to brush up a little bit on my stuff. And I was just thinking, it's fall, so we got a lot of gatherings going on. We got the Halloween parties and Thanksgiving and all that.
My favorite, Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, if I'm not too savvy with the politics and stuff, like, how do I get in there? I need to, still talk and whatever. So I was looking it up, and it was like, some questions that you can ask a group of people. So if y'all wanted to, I can ask just for fun.
Of course, yes,
Some
yes,
questions.
let's lighten it.
Yes, alright. So they said, okay, they said, what was your worst wardrobe mistake? Now, I'll go, because since we're talking about Thanksgiving and fall and stuff, I remember one Thanksgiving, Cassie probably remember. Well, y'all see I have a ponytail now. It's nice and neat, thanks to, Crystal. She, does clothes and hair. But I remember I was just learning how to, like, braid and add hair in, and you couldn't tell me nothing about my hairstyle. I had, like, this one little struggling braid to the side, but I thought it was real cute. So I'm like, I know when I go to my aunt's house, everybody gonna see me. I'm gonna get all these compliments. So I walked in, I'm just like, ready. And everybody just like, hey, nobody said nothing about my ponytail. So I'm like, whatever. A couple weeks later, I look at the pictures, and that's when I realized
I thought it was cute.
that thing was struggling, okay? It was struggling. It was just, it wasn't right. So my family loved me, okay? So they didn't bust on me, but they also wasn't going to lie and say, hey, that was all that. So yeah, that was a little mistake of mine.
I had a wardrobe mistake, but before I went out the door, I corrected it. But I do love the long sweaters, but for me, when you wear a long sweater, your coat has to be longer than that. So that was so that's one wardrobe, and I wanted to wear it so bad, but I couldn't, because when you have a long sweater on, your coat needs to match that. You
Depending
can't
on the outfit, you might be able to pull it off. I think.
Really? I thought I looked crazy.
Depending on the sweater, you will look crazy, but I think it just depends. In most instances, I think that rule sticks, like that the coat should be longer.
Yeah, or at least as long as the sweater. But
If I look at like old high school pictures, I could probably say that was a wardrobe mistake. Like early high school.
But it was a different time. It worked then.
It maybe
Even though everything comes back.
That's true.
Like,
I think my wardrobe mistake, if I had two, I have two. One is like any pair of heels I ever tried to wear that was like stilettos or over like 4 inches. I can't walk in heels. Like, I'm very sure I just accepted it that I was just meant to be close to the ground, because
that's how
me and heels don't get along. And like Caitlin said, when I first started getting my eyebrows done, and this lady around the corner used to do my eyebrows used to be a freaking mess. And my aunt used to try to tell me nicely, and I used to be like, oh, she's just hating. She don't know. And then looking back on those pictures, my friends are terrible. So, Jasmine, if you ever see this, Shakita, if you ever see this, y'all was wrong for letting me out the house looking crazy like that.
Oh my goodness.
One eyebrow up here,
That's
the other one kind of
or
straight.
Or when she made it so far apart, I was like,
oh my God,
that?
I got multiple
Well, first
pictures.
of all, I like thick
seasons.
eyebrows. I don't even get mine done. I just do like this and lay them down.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest wardrobe mistake.
I think they are in style now. The thick eyebrows, they are.
Yeah, everybody wants thick eyebrows.
What else you got?
It's a lot of questions. Let's see. What makes you most proud? That's a hard.
Oh, now y'all know my kids.
I was about to
my children.
I guess when I see that they learn something new.
That's God creation given to you. But that's how I feel. I mean, everybody don't feel like that, but I do. And I look at them, I'm just proud, proud, proud.
I'm proud.
Proud of my niece, what my sister did. Hey.
It's
I
everyday
think
stuff.
that like my sister would make me the most proud, but
Oh.
like my students, the ones that like try to give you attitude real bad, or like the ones that just try to act extra hard. When like by the time the end of the year come around, and like I always give kids like the opportunity to like write me a letter, and they write me a letter like, oh my God, Miss Man, you helped me so much, you helped me with my anger so much. And it's not the kids that like tell you that, oh, I learned a lot, like, okay, you learned your ABCs, I was supposed to teach you that. It's those ones that turn around and say, you really helped my character. Those are like the
Wow,
really
that's
proud
awesome.
moments for me.
Yeah. That's what's up.
I know that's beautiful.
Well, I'm about to have a proud moment because I'm about to open Chris Styles Holiday Glam.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. It's going to be my own little boutique. We're going to have accessories. We're going to have clothes, clothes that I have made, also clothes that I'm selling as well. So I cannot wait.
That is awesome.
Can't wait.
I can't wait for that either. So that was fun.
So, thank you so much for tuning in to Point of View. I am Crystal Holiday.
Say Jamali.
That's Kayla.
And as always, I